Thanks, Ian. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Nets postgame show with Frank Isola and Rebecca Lobo. I'm Nancy Newman. The Nets used a few big runs to take an early lead. They extended that lead in the third quarter and played a stress-free fourth to earn the comfortable win over the Wizards. Everybody contributing, a great team win.
Yeah, and I thought they showed incredible energy from the jump of this game, whether it was on the offensive end of the floor or the defensive end of the floor. They seemed to be communicating better defensively and offensively, sharing the basketball. Really worked well with one another, and it started with Kevin Durant. He was very good, in particular, in that first half, sharing the ball.
And, you know, we saw something from Kevin Durant tonight besides a great play. He was smiling a lot during the game when he was on the bench. By the way, this game was 58-57, and I'm bad at math, but the Nets ended this game on a 70-29 run. How many times you see a game like that? 70-29 over the final 25 minutes of that game.
And there were many reasons for the great play. We're going to focus first on the ball movement, guys. It was crisp.
Yeah, I mean, they were able to move the basketball, and it starts with Kevin Durant. You know, especially there were times where he was getting doubles. Here, this is from the first half, and then pass, extra pass, getting it inside to Nick Claxton. I mean, when you're playing basketball, you just want to be involved, and you don't have to be the guy taking the shot. You want to touch the basketball. And when they're sharing the ball like they do here, three guys touch it, another pass made. I mean, Frank, this is just beautiful ball movement.
And here, Kevin Durant draws the foul as he makes the shot. And, Rebecca, the thing is, we were talking before the game, who's going to be the second scorer? Well, it seems like the Nets decided, let's let everybody be the second scorer, which speaks to the ball movement that they had tonight.
Yeah, they had 7 guys in double figures, and for the first game of the season, they were able to shoot above 40% from the three-point line. They shot 50% from outside, and that comes with ball movement. You shift the defense. You get your shooters an extra second to get their look off. Look at that. Joe Harris could have easily taken that pass, extra pass. Beautiful basketball.
And what does it mean also when you have your best player being a willing passer? Kevin Durant's going to go down as one of the greatest scorers in the history of the sport, yet he's the guy that's initiating a lot of the offense by passing the ball.
And one of the things you see as well is there was a much cleaner lane. Nick Claxton able to catch and dunk because there's not a lot of feet in there. Having shooters on the floor pulls the defense away as well, so that gives those the extra space in the lane.
Checking out tonight's final stats, the Nets shoot better than 50% from the field while scoring a season-high 128 points. Our key to the game is how good they were distributing the ball. They finished with a season-high 32 assists and had only 7 turnovers. So they executed all facets of the game at a very high efficiency.
And let's remember, you know, on the pregame, we talked about what this week has been like for the Brooklyn Nets, and you didn't know what was going to happen tonight. Clearly, Kevin Durant was down, but he didn't let that affect his play. And he was the one that came out moving the ball, and they were defending. I think you're right. The energy was just different tonight. And you know what it is, too? A lot of guys who hadn't played, like Cam Thomas, guys are thinking this could be my opportunity. Guys are coming out there tonight. Everyone that played tonight played hard.
I think that's a big piece of it, is those guys are hungry. Edmond Sumner gets a chance to start. He wants to prove that he belongs out there and is going to play with all the energy that he has. Cam Thomas, another one. David Duke Jr., when he came in the first half, he was shot out of a cannon. He was terrific. So they brought a different level of intensity for some of these guys. They've been waiting game after game to get this opportunity, and they capitalized.
And they know for at least the next 5 games, no Kyrie Irving. So that opens up the opportunity.
And I also think, too, you know, Kyrie Irving's a tremendous one-on-one player. Same thing with Kevin Durant. But I think you'd have to admit, when you watch this kind of brand of basketball, guys moving the ball, it's very entertaining to watch. Hopefully it'll be somewhat eye-opening for Kyrie Irving if he comes back.
It's entertaining for us to watch, and as you pointed out with Kevin Durant, and it was his teammates, too, they were enjoying themselves. And you always enjoy yourself a little bit more when you're winning, especially in this fashion. But when you're playing the way that they played, when you're involved, again, it doesn't have to be shooting. It can be setting a screen. It can be making a pass. It can be, you know, initiating the offense. You feel involved, and there's just more to like about a game like that.
And let's give a lot of credit here to Jacques Vaughn, because he's the coach, not knowing who's going to be available. Kyrie Irving gets suspended. You don't know about Ben Simmons. You don't have Seth Curry. He's the one trying to make all this work. You know, he's the interim coach. He's probably thinking, you know, I wouldn't mind keeping this job long term. And to get his team prepared for tonight with everything that went on says a lot about him. But it's not only preparing. Look at the way they played. They played hard. They moved the ball.
And the rotations were completely different.
That's right.
The rotations were completely different, and he trusted these guys, and they said, all right, and they made him look good.
This was the first leg of a road back-to-back. The Nets are in Charlotte tomorrow, so it's probably notable that Kevin Durant was limited to 33 minutes in this blowout win, and it was an all-around terrific game for the easy money sniper. So obviously, that's where we're going next.
Well, and, you know, we're watching this game, and Rebecca and our producer, Mike Medved, were wondering, when is Kevin Durant going to come out? And I think they were able to get him a rest. I think Jock Vaughn's saying, the last thing I want to do is blow a big lead. But Kevin Durant, but let's remember, he's from Prince George's County, right around the block from Washington, D.C. It still means a lot for him to come home and play well. Even though he was down, obviously, this morning at shoot-around, it did not impact his play. Got it done on both ends of the court. The scoring, Rebecca, we always know that he has that. But for me, it's his ability. That's just a terrific move. It was his willingness to pass, find the open guy. For me, that was the difference.
Yeah, more his willingness than his ability, because he always has the ability. And we were wondering, are they going to take him out? They're going to let him try to get that triple-double. He ended up 1 rebound shy of a triple-double, but absolutely just came out and was showed some leadership in the way he played in this game.
And we talked about it on the pregame that if KD shows the energy and the effort, the others will follow, and he did.
Yeah.
100%. And I think, again, the player, you know, everyone talks about leadership, and you would know this. You know, there are people that talk a lot in the locker room, but it's really about doing it on the court. And I think for Kevin Durant, that's the way that he prefers to lead, doing it out on the court, playing hard, being unselfish. And tonight, you know, he led the way. Look at the numbers for Kevin Durant. 11 assists. That's one of the star players in this league. So if he's going to share the ball, everyone else is, Rebecca.
And a couple other things as well. A couple times he really worked hard to get a closeout.
Yeah.
And in kind of a defensive scramble. There was one time offensively, he sprinted like he was in the 100-yard dash just to go set a screen to get one of his teammates open. It's that kind of energy, too, that can be contagious.
Rebound shy of a triple-double.
Yep.
While the Nets were defeating the Wizards by 42 points, Kyrie Irving was home serving the first game of his suspension tonight. And one of his major endorsers, Nike, has announced that they are at least temporarily cutting ties with the embattled star guard. In a statement, Nike said, and we quote, "At Nike, we believe there is no place for hate speech and we condemn any form of anti-Semitism. To that end, we've made the decision to suspend our relationship with Kyrie Irving effective immediately and will no longer launch the Kyrie 8. We are deeply saddened and disappointed by the situation and its impact on everyone." Let's take our first time out on the postgame. Coming up, we will hear from interim coach Jock Vaughn, who gets the first win of his tenure in blowout fashion over the Wizards.
Jock, so many things stood out tonight. When you had 7 guys in double figures, 50 bench points, what was your biggest takeaway, and how impressed were you guys able to kind of come back and kind of come all together as a team effort?
Yeah, I'll give you one on each end of the floor. I think offensively, the 32 assists really stand out. Guys were really moving the basketball. Kevin was a hub for us tonight, really put them in a tough bind of double teaming him. He was a willing passer, and then he capitalized when he had the opportunities too. And then defensively, the second half, 29 points, pretty nicely done by our group to have pride in getting stops, and so those two things really stood out.
Jock, I got 2 for you. Just career high in assists both from Cam and from Royce. Obviously Royce has been doing a good job with the 3 and the D part, but what do you see from him from a playmaking standpoint, and then Cam too?
Yeah, he's just a smart basketball player. And I think he gives us the luxury of being able to put the basketball in his hands with different groups. He has a high IQ, and so he keeps things pretty simple, which is pretty awesome. And then Cam, you've seen it before. He has the ability to make plays. He's grown as a basketball player to make plays for himself and others.
Then you mentioned the playing small pregame. I think you had a lineup tonight where Yuta was the 5-man. For counting on that, just how much of this has been your preference versus maybe the roster hand you're dealt with some of the attrition injuries right now?
I guess I was honest with you earlier, huh? That proved that part of it, right? I think overall, you have to be flexible with your the lineups that you put out in today's game. We looked at it as an advantage of having Utah out there when Gaffer was there. We could stretch the floor, put multiple shooters around, and made it difficult then to contain Kevin.
Kind of following up on that, I mean, you said from Jump Street you plan to push the pace and be a little more active in that angle. But defensively, going small, is that something you would expect to do a little bit more of going forward, even when you have a full roster?
Yeah, it's just it's a great challenge for the group. When you're small, you have to cover for each other. You have to box out every time. If you don't, you'll get punished. And so it's a great challenge for our group to step up and enjoy that, because we can capitalize on the other end with a little effort and care on the defensive end while being small.
And I guess following up on that, I mean, there have been instances where this team's tried to go small, and they have been punished, and they haven't responded on the boards. What, in your mind, what was the difference tonight where some of that stick-to-itiveness was actually showing.
Yeah, it was really a dedicated effort. You saw multiple times, multiple effort from guys where they're coming over as a low man and then scrambling out and still making contests. And so when you are small, you have to make multiple efforts. And we talked about at halftime. We showed one clip of great shell, us showing for each other, helping each other, going out and contesting the shot. We said we did that the second half, we'd be in good shape.
Anybody else? Megan?
I got to get your reaction from that first quarter KD highlight moment. What did you see? And when you saw the guy almost kind of do the splits there, what was your reaction?
Oh, I hope the camera wasn't on me. To be honest with you, I enjoy the game of basketball, and he's a special human being. He's a special player in our league, and he really enjoys playing the game of basketball, and it's fun to watch.
Should I presume that both Seth and Joe would be available tomorrow?
Let's go, Brian. Yes.
You got one more back. Go ahead.
Can you talk about the mental toughness that the team showed tonight, given a week ago there was a different coach? Ben was in the lineup. Kyrie was in the lineup.
Yeah, it's huge. And we talked this morning about really having a choice and being able to support each other with our feelings, with our effort, being there for each other. We showed we were there for each other tonight. And there's a mental piece to that for sure. We really talked about winning today's game, not complicating even more than that. Win today's game.
Thanks, JV.
All right.
Well, this was a major turn-the-page night for the Nets, who earned their first road win of the season. Their 42-point margin of victory, their largest ever at Washington, and tied for the fourth largest win in team history. They scored 60 points in the paint, 50 off the bench, 32 assists. All were season highs. And, Rebecca, Coach Vaughn did say that they were going to play small for most of the night. Well, that resulted, as we saw, in plenty of shooting.
Yeah, they did that for some of the night. And what was most interesting to me, in a lot of the lineups that were on the floor tonight have probably, this might be the first game that they were all together, have had limited minutes with one another. And you heard him talking about how connected they were on the defensive end of the floor. And that can be hard to do when you're out there with different guys than you're accustomed to being on the floor with. It takes communication. You can even hear it over the TV microphones, the talking on the defensive end of the floor, the effort that they were showing when they were coming out of different schemes, as he was describing. Sometimes it's just about working as hard as you can and communicating with one another, and that's been a really big issue for them. And so considering they were able to do it so well tonight with guys on the floor who haven't spent a lot of time on the floor together was impressive too.
And I know you win by 42. The last thing you think of is resiliency, but they got off to a great start. The Nets did. Washington, again, got to within 58-57. Now you're thinking, all right, reality will now set in. Bradley Beal will get going. Kristaps Porzingis, they're playing in Washington. But the Nets close out the first half, 11-0 run, which begins a 70-29 run to close out the game. I've never seen that before. That, you want to talk about an example of getting it done on both ends of the court. And a terrific job by Jacques Vaughn, to your point, using different combinations and getting guys to play hard.
It can be demoralizing in a run like that when you know, whether it's Washington turning the ball over or the Nets getting a stop and going the other way, and all of a sudden, you know, they're pinballing the ball all over the floor and they're making the defense move, and it's tiring and it's hard and it can be demoralizing, and that leads to an incredible run like they had.
Connected to all of this might be the fact that there could be a narrative out there, perhaps, that Kyrie Irving's absence allowed everyone to play more freely. How much stock do you put in that?
Well, it's well, hang on a second.
I had to ask the question.
Hang on a second. It's the elephant in the room. There's no question about it, but it's a small sample size. It's only one game. And let's not diminish what Kyrie Irving has done when he has played. And he was scoring a lot. He played well up until the game against Chicago. I don't know what was going on. He was invisible in that game, so Kyrie Irving didn't play well. But I do think it is an example of when you don't have the designated star out there and everyone's kind of standing around watching them go one-on-one, and the ball, to your point, is not popping. Jacques Vaughn brought it up. 32 assists. They had 9 turnovers. That's 3-1 margin. I'm doing really good today. But I know that's a fair point. Again, though, it's only one game, and I think what it did for a lot of the guys that you weren't used to seeing play, they're going out there. They're saying, this is my opportunity. I'm going to do things the right way. I'm going to run. I'm going to move the ball. I want to do things that'll keep me in the lineup.
And I think something that's interesting is they play tomorrow night in Charlotte. what if, it's a big what if, but what if we see this kind of unselfishness again? What if we see this kind of effort? What if we see this kind of energy? Then it's going to be a great problem to have for Jacque Vaughn or whoever is coaching the team at that time when Ben Simmons returns and is healthy, or if and when Kyrie returns, because again, it's one game, but if they can continue to do this, you might see them developing a different identity and being a different team when Kyrie eventually returns.
And we think that Ben Simmons, you mentioned, he had his knee drained, the MRI came back clean. Here's the thing. Ben Simmons, when he comes back, this is a good example for him to watch him play, because Steve Nash had the line about, Ben, play through your mistakes. Do you think they have to tell Cam Thomas that? Cam Thomas, like, don't worry about it. I'll keep shooting. I'll keep playing. That's how Ben Simmons, I'm not saying Ben Simmons needs to stand outside the three-point line and knock down shots. Just get out there and go. Run hard, defend, move the ball, and then the good things will happen.
Play a little fearlessly.
Exactly.
But if they continue to play this way, also it's less pressure on Ben.
100%, 100%. But when he gets back, he's got to be the one out there. I like the advice that Steve Nash gave him. Play through your mistakes. It's all right.
Very good. Lots more still to come on the postgame show as the Nets blow out the Wizards in Washington. A big win for Jacque Vaughn and the Nets in the opener.
The Nets postgame show on Yes is brought to you in part by the New York Lottery. Get out there and play.
Taking a look at the Nets' leading scorers tonight, Kevin Durant, he led the way, 28. There were 7 players in double figures tonight, including Nick Claxton. He had 18. Cam Thomas leading all bench players with 17. The bench, they combined for a season-high total of 50. Joe Harris also had 8 points tonight, and 10 total players found their way onto the score sheet. We talked about the Nets needing secondary scoring. They found it. Frank, everybody played, and everybody in the plus column.
Yeah, and I really think Royce O'Neal got it started by knocking down some shots early. He had the 10 points. I had a bet with Rebecca. I said, I don't think he'll get to 18. But he
How much
did
was
play.
the bet?
Well, it's a lot of money.
Okay.
She's great. Up until tonight, he comes in there, he's firing away. But to Rebecca's point, it wasn't just a shooting. He also dishing assists. And Alex from The Athletic mentioned that that was a career high assist for Cam Thomas tonight.
And I think it's fair for us to step back for a second, because this is a great basketball performance by the Brooklyn Nets. When you look at the stats and you look at how they played, they have been living in a tornado of distraction for the past week, and in particular past couple of days. So for these guys to go on the road, which is probably a really good thing for them to get away a little bit from it, but to go on the road and to be able to focus and play hard like they did, including Kevin Durant, really, it's a testament to them.
Markieff Morris has been back a few games now from personal leave. 7.5 minutes on the floor tonight. He spoke a few moments ago with Megan.
Markieff, Jacque said that the message was to support each other. How are you guys able to do that tonight?
We just came to play basketball, man. We played a great game. I think guys was locked in from the beginning. You know, all the stuff we got going on with the team. I just think we just zeroed in and blocked all that stuff out and got the win.
When you talk about zeroing in, 32 assists tonight, what did you see that allowed you guys to move the ball so effectively on the offensive end?
It's not really just thinking. We're just playing. You know, it's a fresh season, 9 games in. A bunch of guys have not played with each other yet, so it's not supposed to work right away. You know, we probably had the best game of the season. We gelled and got the win tonight.
You guys had to play a small ball lineup. How are you guys able to contain it and be so effective on that side?
Just playing hard. We seen that we had the advantage of running the floor. And we small, but we're not really that small. So it's like, that's the new NBA now, and then you got to be able to, you know, play bigger than the size you are.
And I got to ask you, what was your reaction to seeing Katie make that move in that first quarter when the defender hit the split?
That was crazy. I've seen somebody drop somebody, but when you go for all 4 moves, that's when it's crazy. But Gad, that's my guy, so I hope he's good.
Lots more still to do on the Nets postgame show. We'll continue breaking down this blowout.
Sorry about that.
Thanks for coming back with us on the postgame with all the things circling around them. The Nets went on the road tonight looking for a few good vibes to return, and they got the job done in emphatic fashion. Let's check out the highlights. First quarter, Kevin Durant getting to work early, dropping a little fadeaway and one three-point play. 12 points in the opening period for KD, just the beginning.
Yeah, Porzingis came over late, drew the foul on him. Then here's Kevin Durant. Look at this move. Poor Daniel Gafford. Can people cut the guy a little slack? And Kevin Durant did, by the way, Rebecca. He said, I think he slipped a little bit.
He said he slipped on Sweat. He was being a good guy there.
Nets finished the half on an 11-0 run. Durant, the three ball there. 69-57, Brooklyn at break time. Third quarter, some nice ball movement.
And once again, Kevin Durant passing out. Joe Harris, the extra pass, Nick Claxton. How many dunks, Rebecca? I know you documented during the game. How many?
My friend Frank told me it was 4 dunks.
23-point lead. Later, KD keeping the blowout going. Cam Thomas zipping home, finding him.
Look at that. And that's the shot Cam Thomas, I think, on another night might have taken. Takes a deep breath, finds Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant gets the dunk.
In the
Speaking
fourth,
of dunks.
Yeah. There's a dunk. KD is 10th assist. Later, Utah Watanabe, the steal, all the way the other way.
You know, he went to George Washington University. It is a big deal for him to be playing there.
And the smiles you guys talked about, there's some video evidence. An easy win, Watanabe with the block here.
I'll tell you what, he's been really good for them as a role player. Poor Taj Gibson. Had to get blocked by a much younger guy. Taj Gibson's thinking, what are you putting me in this game for?
Look at Nets cruise to the 128-86 win. Kevin Durant finished just 1 rebound shy of a triple-double. 28 points, 9 rebounds, 11 assists. It was tied for the largest margin of victory on the road in team history. Royce O'Neal finished up with 13 points and 8 assists. Moments ago, he caught up with the media.
Royce, when you look at I guess, first off, what was your thoughts when you heard that Kyrie was suspended, and how did you find out?
I mean, all the outside noise and everything. I mean, it's tough. I mean, we just had to focus on, keep focus on the game, and keep our, game plan and discipline to come out and execute to get this win.
And I guess in his absence, I mean, you clearly took on some playmaking roles in his absence. I mean, could you just touch on how it affected you in the game plan and what you were tasked with doing?
I mean, just, whatever this team needs from me, I'm going to, try to step up to the plate, whether I got to be a playmaker, scorer, defender, anything. I think, just having that versatility to, impact the game in whatever way I have to, for us to win, that's what I'm going to do.
Royce, was the 8 assists, was that something Jock or someone on the coaching staff said they'd want to see more out of you, or was that just kind of the way the game went?
I mean, I think that's just kind of how the game went. I mean, I think we had, 30-some assists overall. I think everybody knew, the ball had to move, the focus was going to be on Kevin. So, I mean, everybody else stepped up. I think just, driving the paint, creating open looks for everybody else, and, everybody just being ready to play, step up to every game.
Have you played point guard before?
I mean, I try to play a little bit 1 through 5, whatever I got to do. I play point guard, shooting guard, try to be versatile, play different positions.
And then what was your view, I think it was the end of the bench when Kevin had that first quarter goal?
I mean, that was tough. I think you've seen everybody's reaction. I mean, he was a great player, and then, that's just how everybody's supporting, teammates. I mean, a highlight play like that, we go back after the game and talk about it in the moment. You celebrate and then keep moving.
I think seems like almost every game we're in here talking about defense after the game and where you guys' failings have been on that end of the floor. Today, on a lot of occasions, you went small, were outsized, and yet this might have been your best defensive performance of the year. I mean, how do you explain that?
I mean, I think when you're missing guys, it creates, opportunity for others to step up. We knew it was going to be a collective defensive effort, especially rebounding. I mean, I think our focus on defense really, creates opportunities on offense, and that's what we had to do, focus on today. I mean, every game is the defense. We want to, increase that and make that better every game.
I know, obviously, you're not going to have Kyrie for a while, But even when you get Joe back, when Seth is back and when Ben is back, are there things that you guys can take from this game and the way you guys kind of rotated and helped the helper and did all of the little things that you need to do to win that you can carry forward even when you guys are close to full strength?
For sure. I mean, you know, once we get everybody back healthy and, you know, everybody back, you know, we just going to continue building on, you know, every game, learning from every game. It's going to be a collective team win, you know, night in and night out. I think our focus on defense, we can score, you know, how many ever points, but defense and rebound is something we've been focused on and going to keep getting better at.
Lots of solid performances all over the floor tonight, including Edmund Sumner and Joe Harris. Let's hear from both of them, starting with Sumner.
Evan, so many things were working for you guys tonight. What stood out to you, and what were your biggest takeaways?
The defensive side, I think we locked in on that end. Probably we can get anything wrong on the offensive side, but as long as we was locked in defensively, first half and second half, especially that third quarter, we came out really locked in. I feel like that kind of helped us out this game.
And when coming to locking in, how much of a team effort did this one take with 50 bench points, 7 guys in double figures?
Oh, that was a great team effort. I mean, you see everybody happy, smiling. We were sharing the ball out there, having fun. I mean, that's all it is, man, a team, a collective effort. We got a couple guys out, just guys stepping up, being ready. That's pretty much it.
And what's going through your mind when you see KD go to work like that?
And that's every day, man. You see that every day with him, man. That man's special. So, I mean, it's nothing new. It's a reason why he's one of the best in the game, man. So we get to see that every day.
And we got to see you come into the starting lineup. What is it about your game, and what do you want fans to know about you?
I mean, I'm just ready for anything, any role, whatever my name is called. They can come off the bench, 6, 7, start a game. I mean, I'm ready for anything. So me just being prepared and ready for any role that the team is willing to give me.
Joe, describe to me what was different about tonight, especially when it comes to the team effort.
I think it was just that it was a collective team effort. You know, we did a great job sharing the ball. 32 assists is unbelievable. You always put yourself in a good position to win when you do that. And then defensively, we just kind of took it up another notch. Communication was really good. Guys were, you know, selling out for one another. And, you know, at the end of the day, if you hold the team to 29 points in the second half, same thing. You're going to put yourself in a good position to win.
And when it comes to sharing the ball, as you mentioned, 32 assists. When you guys are moving the ball like that, how lethal can this team be?
I think very lethal. You look just across the board, there's a lot of really talented offensive players. And, you know, when you're able to go from good to great, there's a lot of external noise, different things that are going on, but we all have a job to do.
You know, it was Royce O'Neal in that first quarter with the 10 points, but the number that really stands out, 8 assists for him. And you think about him and Kevin Durant, Rebecca, they combined just 2 players for 19 assists in this game.
And when I'm looking at this this performance too, you know, coaches are always telling you play hard on defense, talk on defense, share the ball on offense. But when you do it and have the kind of success that the Nets had doing it tonight, it's pretty great reinforcement to be able to go into their game tomorrow and say, you know, yeah, that worked. If we talk on defense, if we scramble on defense, if we work really hard on defense, we can stop guys. And if we share the basketball, we can shoot 50% from the three-point line, and a lot of guys can get involved and get touches. So great reinforcement. After I'm sure their coaching staff has been telling them to do these things. They do it well. Let's see if they can now duplicate it tomorrow night.
The supporting numbers, 50 of 90 from the field, 14 of 28, 50% from 3, and they were perfect from the line, 14 of 14.
And again, offensively, they were off the charts. Let's also remember, they allowed 29 points in the second half. Now, Washington was also having its own struggles. They contributed, but come on now. That's where, you know, we talk too much about offense because offense sells, but they need to play defense. And tonight, 29 points in the second half.
Absolutely outstanding. And it was a team effort. It was absolutely a team effort.